Hey, well, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are in the world, soldiers. Oh my gosh, it's great to be back on the air. What some exciting times are happening right now in the whole world of crypto over at Phantasma. We've got so many things going on, and we are just on the verge of launching our new website. It's exciting. It's going to have, well, there's lots of features on this. You guys are all really going to enjoy it. And we've got lots of new video content coming and lined up. We have a new video person that has just joined the team and dedicated solely to video. Our social media is just rocking it right now. Our metrics over on social media are just growing exponentially. Twitter is fantastic. There's so much happening over, with all the different artists and musicians. We've got a dedicated person now to email marketing. You're going to be seeing that roll out in a variety of different channels, talking to different developers and token holders, bringing all of this stuff on. We've got, conversations going on with bands and musicians. Some really cool NFTs are coming as well in the music world, stuff that you've probably never even conceptualized. It's so awesome. Some new artists that we're lining up. The team, we're in discussions with some enterprise, and this is really cool. Phantasma is a business that's a solution provider, and we're a blockchain. And blockchain technology is disruptive in so many different sectors, and the next 5 years of that is just going to be ridiculously exciting. And so the discussions that are happening there is just it's very, very fruitful. Last week we were invited to be on the Nifty show to talk about different NFTs in the gaming world. It's busy. We've even got a big announcement coming this Monday. I'm going to say 2 words: international esports. It's just so awesome, and we're in a lot of different discussions with some dApps. It's a lot of fun. But let's bring ourselves down to reality here. There is somewhat of a bull run going on. The crypto world is really exciting. There's discussions about, our Project Mooney and all of that. I'll tell you straight up, my personal perspective, I don't give a shit about our particular price, because I know 2 things are happening over at Phantasma that is a game changer. Pardon the pun, but that's usage and adoption. Our chain is being used by real businesses every single day. And we've got people consistently and new partnerships coming along, and our chain is being used. So let's go back 20 years to the .com era, and it came down to usage and adoption. So I don't care how you spin it. I'm bullish about Phantasma. I am so excited for this quarter. I can't tell you. I am so excited for 2021. Have patience, folks. And, on that note, I'm going to transition to today's AMA, because all of those things that we were just talking about that I just listed in regards, that's what this game, this partnership, this product that we're going to be talking about is going to bring. We've got Iggy here, and we're going to be talking about a new product that his team is bringing onto our chain. And what I really like about this is not, like in the gaming world, we know 18 to 34-year-old males is the core group of real gamers and whatnot. 70% of Americans play a video game every single day. That's grandma. That's kids that are 6 years old. This game is for everybody, and it's mobile. It's on these devices. So it gives everything. It gives that carnival feel. It's got that casual addictiveness aspect to it. It's got the Vegas excitement. And this is coming from somebody that has created and built for DC Comics. A previous game developer from this development house has a cult following, won some awards, has 50,000 players. This is what I'm talking about, guys, usage and adoption. So on that note, I'd like to, come over, and Iggy, thank you very much for giving your time today, dude. I see that you just launched a couple of NFTs no more than an hour ago. A first comic book, dude. I mean, you just blew my mind. Let's just jump right into this comic book and then maybe learn a little bit about yourself. But what'd you just drop an hour ago?
Yeah, I actually dropped 3 NFTs. 2 of them are commemorative badges for this event, this AMA right now. And the other one is my first comic book over at Ghost Market. So it's my first comic book NFT.
Did you guys pick up on that? This guy has been a part of DC Comics and Image Comics. I mean, he's been in the comic world for a long time, and I was just thinking about it. I'm like, man, there's going to be number one. There's going to be number 10. This is just, there's going to be $1 million comic book sales at some point in time. We're going to hear about it probably this year, if not, next year. This is just a perfect fit for that. So Iggy, listen, let's learn a little bit about yourself, dude. And you've got a company, and you've got a product that has been very successful in the past. What are you? Are you a developer? You a
Well,
designer? Businessman?
yeah. So my background is I started as a comic book artist, right? And my first job was as a colorist for Image Comics, and I did a mini series there of 3 issues. And right after, I won an award, a contest by DC Comics, and they would publish. The contest was uh, a monthly contest that the first place would be published by them with their own IP, their own world. And I won that contest. I co-created a series that got picked up by DC Comics. And so this is my background, my professional background. And after that, well, I sold my rights, the rights of my IP to DC Comics, and after the run was over, I basically wanted to do things that I owned. So I created my own company because, during this DC Comics time, this contest was actually something that I had to promote myself. It was the beginning of YouTube, and it wasn't actually in 2008, 2007, 2008. Um, I was only 22 years old, and at that time there was no iPhone yet, and no, there was iPhone, but there was no iPad. But I knew that this was going to evolve. Comic books would evolve to digital, and DC Comics was also trying to figure out what would be their digital comics strategy. So it was very good for a time, but then I realized that I actually don't make any decisions about my own IP. So I had to leave and start my own company so that I could develop my own content. And that's when I started to develop Light Apprentice, which started as a web comic and evolved into a game um, that from 2013 to 2017 was published on mobile and on Steam.
That's that's awesome. And guys,
Pretty crazy
remember,
because just to kind of answer your question more precisely, uh, a Light Apprentice, it started as a web comic with game elements. So every time that you saw the character the first time, you would see their stats. So the strength, the speed, everything. But I realized that I could actually make a game that is a comic book at the same time. So that's what Light Apprentice became. So it's very difficult to say if I'm a comic book artist or game developer, but I'm actually both.
that's amazing. Dude, it was. It's fascinating. It's fascinating the people that Phantasma is attracting, and based off of some of your experience and exposure that you've achieved. I was thinking about this earlier in regards to Light Apprentice and where now you are going in the world of Ghost Festival, this new product that we're going to talk about. Light Apprentice, you achieved excellent success, but you created a very niche based comic book, essentially role play game that developed a cult following. This new product that you've got it may develop a cult following, but it is not that niche based. It appeals to a vastly different audience. So I love how you've taken all of your experience over the years of everything, and you're just everything that you've done, you've added a new layer to it. So if I'm a betting man, I'm going to bet on you. I'm going to invest on you. It's like it comes down to two things here, guys, that we were talking about: usage and adoption, right?
Mm, yeah.
That's what this man has got, and he's just added these layers. So I'm really stoked about this particular product and to dive into it. First off, where are you on the planet? Where are you on
Yeah.
planet Earth?
So I live in Denmark. I was born in Brazil, and moved to Denmark when I was like 23 years old. So I've been here for 12, 13 years now. And yeah, probably becoming a half Danish at this point.
That's interesting. I learned a statistic this morning about Denmark. I was just taking some personal time and doing some reading and reading some statistics from a book from 1975, a Guinness book, and I believe it was it was about ice hockey. I'm actually wearing an ice hockey
Uh,
jersey. It says, "Stay the puck home." Hockey helps the homeless. But Canada allegedly beat, I believe it was Denmark, 47-0 in the World Cup in 1947. That's the biggest hockey, defeat on world stage. Boy,
yeah,
that's an interesting
Denmark is very good at handball though. So
handball,
yeah, there's or curling or something like. There's some sports that
curling.
yeah.
That's fantastic. My parents went to Denmark when I was a child, about 10 years old, and I've always been fascinated with Denmark as well as Norway and Sweden. Those were the
Mm.
three countries.
Yeah, Nordic countries are great. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. And I'm a winter guy. I like the winter time. We're getting
Mm.
snow over here in Chicago, and
Yeah, I
but
agree. I love winter. Yeah, it's snowy here as well. I love it.
yeah, I was talking to a team member last night. I'm like, all right, time. We got a snowfall. I got to go get some beer. She's like, what does snowfall have to do with beer? I said, well, I get to go out and run the small motor and use the use the snowblower, and then I make my way over to the neighbor's house and got to have a beer in his garage and off to the next. And
Yeah, that's nice. Nice
yeah,
social. Yeah.
yeah. So Denmark, and that's fantastic. So how long ago, you obviously got yourself educated in development and gaming, and you're an artist, and at some point in time, this stuff came together. When do you think that these two passions of yours came together?
Well, that's the thing, right? They've always been passions that are connected because in games you have art. I always loved the character designs in games, and I studied the concept arts of the games I loved when I was young. And animation was also something I always loved. So these things are always connected, and nowadays the difference from my childhood is that technology is at our fingertips, and pretty much anything you can imagine you can do. And like if you think about it, we live in a little bit of a sci-fi world where, as we grew up, our generation basically saw the technology evolving so fast. So, like going back to the times in DC Comics, uh, I was making we're in 2008 we were trying to figure out how comics would be adopted, mass adopted in digital, and there was no talks about a tablet or an iPad. That was science fiction far in the future. And basically what we did was we transformed the tall comic book format into a 4 by 3 format, and and on a browser, and made a reader on the browser. That's what DC Comics thought this was the future. And then a couple of years later, the iPad came out, and that just blew everybody's minds. Like every comic book fan um, from my generation is just blown away by this kind of technology when it comes out. And I think that NFTs are the new groundbreaking technology for artists and for pretty much anything, because as a digital artist I can post my art anywhere, but it has very little value because it's infinite. right? When you have a token, when you have an NFT that the artist minted, that the artist made, and only you have that, and you can prove the authenticity of that, that basically makes that 100% unique, right? So this basically gives another dimension to art and to digital art. And of course, there are projects that are very interesting that are connecting physical and digital rewards or items, right? And we, as you say, we are in the new frontier right now, and I think Phantasma is doing a great job at being the chain where people like me want to go to, because it has a lot of strengths where other chains basically lack strength on.
So anybody else that's watching right now, we've got a doctor on our team, and I got to ask this question: what's going on inside my body? Because any of you guys watching, do you have the same things? You know, that those goosebumps that you just feel through your spine and, you know, down through your hips and down your legs and down your arms, and just listening to this stuff, you know, the forefront of where we are, this technology being written. It's fantastic. So before we actually get into a little bit of this product, I just want to explore two areas, and you were just touching on one there. You actually touched on both the areas, but let's uh, let's talk a little bit about what you're referring to on your journey of finding Phantasma, and what did that journey look like, and why did you choose Phantasma? I mean, you've got options out there,
Yeah.
but I know you. When I met you, I'm like, this guy is extremely serious. He's done his homework. He's got a winner. Let's let's support him as much as we can. How did you find us, and what were the key benefits that made you choose Phantasma over any other chain out there?
Yeah, sure. Well, there are other chains that could deliver what I was looking for, but I think Phantasma is the only one I could find that was at the right stage for it, for me to onboard, because let's say I my journey to NFTs was very fast. It was like in 1 week, I I realized what NFTs are. I had heard about them. I had heard about the possibilities, but I never really understood it. But it took me 1 week to looking at um, one video by a DCL blogger, which is Maddie, and he posts videos regularly on YouTube, and he explained what this could be for artists, right? And I thought this was brilliant. It was it was game changing. And then I just watched tons of content, just went after tons of material. In 1 week, my mind was just blown away by all this, and I just had to do something about it, because this is what, yeah, it's just like it's a volcano of information. And because I was really struggling to find where to publish our next game, and and when I looked at the options available, basically you have Ethereum, which everybody who is on the Phantasma chain knows what the problems are, but for me it's not so much about the technical problems that it has, about let's talk about the elephant in the room, which are gas fees. It's not so much about the technicality of it, but it's more about um, being able to onboard mass a mass adoption, onboarding system of a mass of a lot of people. So I don't believe currently Ethereum auction is an auction for onboarding millions of people. because you can't have a person that is just starting out. You can't ask them to pay two times for one thing. You have to pay for the thing, and then you have to pay for the gas. That, you know, ETH 2.0 will come at some point, but I need to do something about this right now. How can I do this? So I went to other chains and researched. And Phantasma was the only chain where the guys are doing an incredible job on the technology. Just recently launched Ghost Market, which is it's it doesn't lack anything compared to other marketplaces. Um, and the community is great. The community is super supportive, and the developers are super friendly, and they're always replying to your questions and your worries about things. So even before when I was in the research phase, is this for me? Is this what I need? I was just testing out, and the feeling that I had was great because I didn't say I'm a game developer, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I was just asking questions, and anybody who who's new to the community and comes in and asks questions gets such a warm welcome. And this spirit is very important for a chain at this stage, whose whose the technology is ready for mass adoption. They're just trying to figure out basically like the front end of it, and it's the right time. So technology, community, timing, everything is great for me.
Usage and adoption,
Yeah.
right? I mean, it's good. That's a great story, dude. I appreciate that a lot. And let's face it. There's if anybody that's an indie developer out there, you've got an existing game with 10,000, 100,000, a million gamers right now. Listen to the story of this particular approach and some of the research. But we encourage you to go and do the research that's out there. And we've got the resources and capabilities to support when we can, where we can, with who we can. It's all about here. And we've got an extremely passionate team over at Phantasma, and I've been around business long enough to know that we've got Super Bowl players on the team. There's some incredible, brilliant minds, and there's no chain out there that's forward thinking. As a matter of fact, here's a quick little story. I was just listening to Charles Hutchinson a couple of nights ago, and it was a beautiful. It was a TED type of talk, and if you don't know who he is, he's the founder of Cardano, and he's the co-founder of Ethereum with Vitalik, and brilliant man. And he was getting into discussions in regards to AI and talking about images of like deep fake images. And I remember about 2 years ago I started to learn about deep fake images, and now we're on the forefront. And within 2 or 3 years, there's going to be technology available for everyday use that can create deep fakes that are indistinguishable from us as a human eye between the other one. And it was like, shit, this could really create some major problems. But then here we are in America. We just went through the most, the last election we went through was on a world stage. It was horrible, and there's not a lot of trust and authenticity. And that's when this was one of these 2:30 in the morning nights a couple nights ago where I just literally had to pace and wore carpet out in my house. I got a good sized house and just keep walking around because the light bulb went on for me, and I went blockchain, and we're in discussions with these. We can't talk about it right now and who and what, but on let's just say on the social front, there's it's really exciting, and so in 3 years there could be a video of like Obama having sex with a sheep, and how are you going to know whether that was real or not? Well, tied to that stuff that flows around social media, there's going to be a blockchain behind it, and know that where the source was, and give some trust and authenticity all the way back to us as consumers. And it's fascinating because that's what algorithms have been learning for the last 20 years. And if we look at what Google has done with their SEO algorithm, for example, yeah, 15 years ago, I could throw 40,000 links at a website and rank it #1, but now it's all about trust and authenticity. You know, just it's real
Mm.
marketing. You're not gaming the system anymore. You know, those
Mhm.
days are gone. We're 4 or 5 years away from algorithms being gamed. AI's, you know, in the forefront of all this. We're not gaming shit anymore. It comes down to trust, and that's the fundamentals of blockchain, right? Gosh, you
Yeah,
could keep
definitely
it
agree.
going, and I don't want to
Yeah.
waste everybody's time because people want to start learning about you and your product. And I just the second thing I wanted to touch on before we get into your product is, you
Yeah.
know, guys, he had mentioned that he's got a couple of NFTs that are out there. These are his first NFTs that he's releasing on
Oh yeah,
Ghost
I
Market.
can share my screen. I can share my screen
We're going
quickly.
to
And
get to that in 1 second.
all right, all right.
And the second thing is that comic book. So we're going to have some links dropped in the chat box. And I also, as we start to get into some of this stuff here, any questions you've got, just go ahead and ask your questions in the ask question box there. We'll get to them, and we're going to take a look at this comic book, which is the first comic book released on Ghost Market, possibly the first NFT comic book on the history of planet Earth. It's awesome. And then we're gonna get into what this game is about and how this game is just gonna bring a lot more usage and adoption. So on that note, guys, let's go. And I'm gonna switch the screen. We'll get into it. Iggy, you can share your screen
Oh,
anytime you want.
yes.
And let's look at some of your stuff, dude.
All right. Yeah, just a moment. Just a moment. Quickly, I have to share it.
Gotta hit a few buttons.
Yeah, gotta hit them.
Oh, there's me.
Yeah, there we go. So when you are on Ghost Market, the first three that appear here are NFTs that I just minted. This one is a commemorative badge for this AMA. This one is the second badge, commemorative badge for this AMA. And this one is the comic book that he was talking about.
He already sold two, guys. I mean, it wasn't even promoted; it just launched within an hour.
Yeah, so they are right there. Okay, shall we get to the
Yeah,
presentation?
yeah. Let's start talking about this game a little bit. And just as a reminder, guys, this is a game that's good for grandma and her grandkids. It's a mobile game. Wait till you see some of this stuff. I mean, there's no better way for me to describe it. It gives that carnival feel. It's got the addictive feel, and Vegas sounds. So I'm stoked for this. And let's take a look, dude.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk briefly about my company, Amazu Media. We have launched our main game is Light Apprentice. It's a comic book and a game at the same time. It's on mobile and Steam, and it was launched between 2013 and 2017. The second volume of Light Apprentice is coming later this year. It will launch chapter by chapter, and this is the cover of Light Apprentice Volume 2. As we talked, this is my background, Image Comics and DC Comics. Started Amazu Media in 2013, ran into NFTs and looked for a place to develop, and fell in love with Phantasma and Ghost Market. So we touched upon these. This is, well, resolution is not great, but this is the comic book I worked as a colorist for Image Comics. This is the comic book I co-created and was an artist for DC Comics. It's a really crazy story, but I'm not going to get into it now. We're here to talk about Ghost Festival. So Um, for a few years, we have developed a few ideas at what we call the Amazu Media's R&D department, and we came across an idea, a gameplay that is addicting. It is mobile. It's casual. And when I say we are at 90% development completion of this game, um, it means that we're very advanced, and we want now to use all the power the NFT and Phantasma can bring to gaming, which I call it the NFT explosion. We're gonna have so many collectibles in the game, and thanks to Phantasma's tech, we can actually um, play around with how we're gonna do that. So I like the Inception NFTs idea, where you can have an NFT inside an NFT. We're gonna play with that, and because of the leverage of the NFTs and the blockchain and the momentum that it has right now, we are basically trying to do something that is community funded. It's like crowdfunding, but it's not the same as Kickstarter, right? It's more like you get real value for funding the game. Um, Everybody wins because you can get something now that will increase in value and you can sell later.
Couple of
For
points here. I just quickly want to jump in here, and guys, recognize when he talks 90% development, that's badass. And basically the game is almost essentially done, and it's just plugging in the NFT components to it. And we know Phantasma, we've got everything ready. So it's not far from being done. And the last bullet point there, he raised, this is kind of like a Kickstarter, and Iggy and I were having a conversation prior to this, and it's just really exciting because what we're experiencing here is there's a whole other conversation that we're not even talking about, and the opportunity to generate revenue for development houses. And Kickstarter was a crowdsourcing concept that was, I don't know, 10, 11, 12 years old. I remember learning about it in 09, 08, and it works, but this is better. And this ties, the aspect of DeFi, the financial component to it, the ownership element of it. So it's just really bringing creators closer together to their fans, and that's Iggy here. So I don't mean to interrupt, Iggy, but I just wanted to reiterate those amazing points.
it's all right, and I agree with what you said. So about the game itself, so basically you're going to play in a festival, and you need a ghost and a hammer to start playing. The ghost is your character, and the hammer is your weapon. And um, you can customize your ghost and have different hammers. Your ghost can have different headgear, costumes, and accessories. Um, and you can also customize your festival, because you are going to be visiting other players' festivals and they will be visiting yours. And this mechanic um, will give, without spoiling too much or revealing too much, it will really enhance the social aspect of the game, because your festival can look different, very different from another player's, and he can have some rewards in his festival that you need. So you're going to be kind of traveling around and checking each other's festivals. There are going to be also collectible cards that will have in-game effects or bonuses, or all of this will be reviewed at the right time. I'm going to show you a little bit about the ghosts. These ghosts will be the first ghosts that you will be able to get. They are going to be called the OG ghosts, and they will come in the founder spec that will be reviewed, that will be sold in early March. Here are a few of the hammers that will come also in the founder spec. So this is only a small number of hammers that we are planning for the game. So, well, it's quite small here, but you're gonna have these ghosts and these hammers in the founder spec, and we can talk a little bit about the roadmap, which I already mentioned, that in early March we're going to start selling the founder spec, and the founder spec will have the collection called the OG collection, and the founder spec will come with a special ticket that will give these the holders of this token special access for events of early access beta testing and a few other surprises. In April, we're going to start selling more NFTs, or more, how do you say, a little bit more advanced NFTs. The OG collection will be only available in early March, and it will be limited, so you better not miss it. So April pre-sale starts. May, we plan to have our beta testing for the ticket holders. And in June or July, we'll see, there will be the release of the first version of the game.
Some good nuggets, some key points there, guys. We haven't even had a chance to see the game yet, and that's the most exciting part. But recognize those dates, because those are some good opportunities. And just to make note, the most important date is the release of this, and I think we saw in June. So that's going to be Q2, sometime in Q2.
Yep. And from now until early March, so we're in early February, so from now until early March, I am releasing my art NFTs on Ghost Market, where I'm going to fund the development of the game with this with the sales of these NFTs, and you can go here to my artist profile on Ghost Market, which is ghostmarket.io/artist/pha or pha/iggynore, and you can find my art NFTs over here. And I have the Chibi collection, which are 7 of each. Each has a number of 7 units, because 7 is my lucky number. And it's a virtual gallery with my art, so with some 3D effects, and it's about the characters that I like the most in video games, in comics, animation, movies, etc. And they come with unlockable content. They come with the making of drawing, and like the drawing process recorded. They come with an image with high resolution of the drawing that you can print yourself. And each of these NFTs will also give bonuses in the game. So the Chibi series are these 7 over here. Each of them have 7 units. All of the number 1 units are already sold out, except for this one. So if you like to have the number 1 mints of an artist, this one is still available. This one is somebody bought this one and then they are selling it again, the number one of this one. So you can get that for 6,000 souls instead of 4,000.
Iggy,
And then
we got to keep moving on here. We're running out of
yeah,
time.
let's go.
Let's take a look at this game here and get an understanding of what this product is going to look like and what people are going to expect come
Yes,
June.
let's go. hmm Yeah. So yeah, so these are the social links, and you can follow us on Ghost Festival Game, iggynore on Twitter. This is the Telegram of the Ghost Festival Game, and this is the link of my Ghost Market page. This version of the game I'm going to show you is the version with placeholder characters. So careful with the sound, it's a little bit loud.
So you're playing with your thumbs.
Yeah, so you're
Getting those.
basically hitting these whack-a-mole holes, and you're right now fighting a boss.
Cool. Guys, like the colors are going to appeal to such a large audience. The sounds, you know, you've got the Vegas sounds, you've got the carnival feel, you've got the excitement of winning. It's got all the elements to be a winner.
Yeah, so you have here placeholder characters from the Light Apprentice series. And we're going to have our ghosts here instead. So you have a good feel of the game, of the gameplay. Let me see if I can find this one. So this demo here shows a little bit more about customization and power-ups. So here we are in one festival, and this festival looks like this, looks like pink and purple. This is it's a player's festival, so you can customize your festival. And this gameplay of hitting with your thumbs is very addicting because each enemy has their own stats, and your hammer has its own stats. So you have to match the right weakness.
So, have you guys painted the picture here of what you've just consumed in the last 45 minutes? You know, has that been drawn out clearly, and see with what we've got with this ecosystem here of this particular game, that players that are easily onboarded now, especially throughout 2020 and 2021, tied into a blockchain that has ownership of digital assets that provide power-ups, that these assets can be traded, bought, and sold on a marketplace on the internet that have true value to it. Usage and adoption, right? It's fascinating. This is exciting, Iggy. We're super stoked to have you aboard. We're thankful that you have, you know, done your homework and chosen to launch your product on our chain. And I think we've got some questions that are lined up, and I think we could probably go ahead. I should have mentioned, anybody that's listening in right now, just go ahead and hit the ask a question box and ask a question, or go take a look. And if there's a question that's listed that you want, vote it up, because I'm able to prioritize based off of the voting system. But I think we've pretty much covered everything, Iggy, that we've had on our plan here. So if you want to put your camera back on, and we'll jump back into some questions and answers, and you know, just kind of sit back and enjoy this opportunity a little bit. I'll go ahead and take a look at some of the questions here.
All right.
So we got 3 votes up here. You know, what do you think will be the role of Phantasma in using mobile games as well as the future of video games? Tell us about, you know, the impact of NFT on games. All right, let me take that one because that's not directly related to you. And the answer to that question, I could do a 5-part series of webinars over the course of multiple hours in the discussion of it. You could put me down and have a beer, and I could talk about it straight for 90 minutes, I am sure. There's quite a bit of different implications to all of this, so I'm not going to completely be able to answer your question in that regards, but I do want to guide you to some resources. And this is actually a good transition into our website. One of the functionalities of it is we have a Wikipedia function to it. We have a source for all of our video content that we're creating, and we're creating a video series to be able to answer a lot of these questions. There are NFT videos over on our YouTube channel that you can go and check out and follow. But at the end of the day, NFTs, in my opinion, is one of the largest use cases for blockchain. And you know, in the world of video games, you know, you could take 22 Racing Series, one of our featured dApps, and you know, the concept of being able to have an asset that wins. Here's an example of how it's changing the game. My son, we think, is the first professional blockchain esports race driver on the planet, and he's getting paid to race a car from somebody else. So he was hired by somebody else to race that car, and he owns a car that's in that race that's branded for that particular race that he won in an NFT pre-sale. And he says to me, "Dad, if I win this championship and I've got that car and I go and put it on Marketplace, do you think maybe that car is worth more money because it's coming from my wallet?" Son, you're getting it.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So NFTs, like next week, I said we're making an announcement. I said 2 words: international esports. We're going to be talking about the implications of NFTs into that marketplace. We're making a new announcement. So Amir was the first one that asked that question. Stand by, because we're going to learn a variety of different implications, and over the course of the next quarter, you know, roll a lot of that out of how it's major for Phantasma, because we've got usage and adoption. Number 2 voted up here. Tell us more about integration of the NFTs into the games. Well, let's put that into you, and how, you know, NFTs are going to create some sort of an ecosystem into your game.
Well, first, well, the most interesting and which is also the most basic use is that you're going to own what you buy, right? You're gonna own it 100%. You can't, well, it's you can't waste your time when you're playing a blockchain game, because you are creating value. Um, the thing that you own, you can sell later. So like this, this is the most basic functionality or feature of a NFT. This is already a huge differential for a blockchain game. It's like, I want to stress on this, because when the mass market starts to understand that, they will never want to play another game that is not a blockchain game.
What do we say? This game is for grandma and her grandkids, right? This is
Yeah,
revolutionary. NFTs are revolutionary for that. It's pretty awesome. Now the next question.
yeah.
Let's transition into the next one, because it's you know, are these transferable, or you know, can they move vice versa? So I'll take a quick stab at that and say, yeah. I mean, we've got Ethereum, and we could swap. And while this particular bridge is not live today, we're literally days away. of being able to take NFTs on our platform and putting it on OpenSea or Rarible and all these other Ethereum-based ecosystems. But what are some of your thoughts
Oh,
in regards to that?
is this Justin's question you're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's actually asking if you can actually use the NFTs in the game, right? Or if you can just collect them. Um, and I don't know if you're talking about the art NFTs because they're going to have an effect in the game, but of course the game NFTs will be used in the game. Yeah, but
Um,
also collectible
that's
also.
awesome.
Yeah.
So your first product that you launched, you had 50,000 or have 50,000 players and a cult following. How big was your development team on that?
For Light Apprentice, we were up to 20 people at the height of production for some time. Um, and I learned a lot about management and running a company, doing the art, game design, and all that at the same time. It was very interesting, and we scaled down a lot for 4 people, and we kind of have more power actually when we are smaller. That's what we found out, and maybe we scale up again. We'll see.
Mm-hmm. Cool. I'm pretty confident. I'm I'm betting there. That's coming from SM3K. Soulmaster 3000. Him and I. Yeah, we have a little thing going on Twitter, or she,
Mm,
he or she.
mm.
Um, so he or she will know what I'm referring to. So you better provide what we've dropped down, or we're not going to answer your questions there. No, just kidding. Um, are you already in talks with other Phantasma game developers to create cross game NFTs at all? I mean, that's an interesting concept.
Yeah, I want to take this functionality a bit. Um, I want to use it, yes, because it's not only one new thing we can do. It's not just a gimmick, but it's actually something that will cross promote games. It will create value for the community, and I want to add to that yes, we are talking about cross how do you say cross using NFTs in our games, yes, but I would also like the creators of the community to, if you're interested, you can come forth with your NFT or whatever you do, and we'll see if we can use it into the game somehow. I cannot promise anything, but I think this feature for community is very interesting. I am talking to a few musicians that that would be interesting to have their music in the game, and they can sell their NFT and the music NFTs. Like it's really a cross promotion that powers up community.
Ha, that's a whole that just opened up a whole new thing. I didn't even thought of that. I haven't even figured out, some of the digital assets you're going to be able to bring into your product, you can monetize and further sell as additional NFTs. That's a whole new revenue channel right there alone. Music, holy,
Mhm.
that's just great. And then you can
Mm.
tie it right to the amount of game licenses or whatnot, or downloads or gamers, and gosh, that's so awesome. Um, there was a question here about the gameplay of Ghost Festival. We already touched on that enough. Will Light Apprentice be adapted for blockchain connectivity? So let's kind of dive in, perhaps, of V2 that you were talking about. Um, is that a potential to be on the blockchain?
So the way I'm looking at Light Apprentice now is it will continue being not on the blockchain. It will continue being released on Steam and mobile as a normal game. However, there will be NFTs in the same universe. So, for example, the comic book that I published today is about a character in the Light Apprentice universe. So, this kind of this kind of um, like using Light Apprentice to really appeal in the mass market. We're hoping that we're going to get a few more thousands of players for Volume 2, and then having like the brand kind of expand in the kind of mainstream market, and then have the real like the collectors, the NFT collectors, to get exclusive how do you say, merchandise? I don't know, something like I don't know if you can see like this little guy over here. This is the Light Apprentice. Um, you know, some things that only NFTs can provide. That's something we're seriously thinking about.
Wow. In my downtime, Friday nights last year, I built myself well, I printed it on my 3D printer and then built it all in my basement, a CNC machine. And so, that sign that's right up there of 22, I was deciding today, and I'm looking at it, and I'm like, man, there's so many partners and things with Phantasma that I'm going to create a hobby for the rest of 2021, and create my own merchandise to have for our own set here. It's exciting, so I'm gonna have that for Amazu. This has been a real enlightening opportunity, Iggy. I can't thank you enough for giving your time. And folks, I've been around the business block well enough. I have. A lot of you don't know, some of my past history of understanding the e-commerce world and the development of the .com, and there's so many different parallels. But what's happening right now at Phantasma, the team, we are working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, because it's driven by passion. We understand with what's happening, in the back end of the development that have created, and I feel like that Phantasma has created the most beautiful stadium that's out there, and there's just a trickle of people that are just starting to come in. On the sidelines, we have a Super Bowl quality team, and we've brought the right coaches that are coming in to rally the troops for that particular team, and we're getting out there and we're ready to play some football. I'm using that analogy because guess what is on Sunday here in America is, the Super Bowl. And there's, a lot of semblance to that. And so it's just really exciting times that, it's enabling us to work extra hard. And because the world is changing right now. Just like how the world changed in 1992 when the internet was founded with the first web browser. And, it took until 2005 until social media really started to take off and, grasped. And then in 2007, we had, mobile phones. And it seems like it's almost a little surreal. But, the internet 3.0, the backbone is blockchain. Let's face it. It's, the information age, the future of the information age, its backbone is blockchain. And Phantasma is in such a good position. So on that note, everybody have a great weekend. Watch out for some of the announcements that are coming in the following week. And soldiers, don't sell your soul. All right, folks, thank you very much. And that's it. We'll see you later, Iggy. Thank you.
Yes, bye bye. See you, everyone.